Hello, welcome to Flavours of Africa. I'm Doris Ufoegbune.
And I'm Kevin Ufoegbune.
Today we're taking you to West Africa and we're going to Liberia. Liberia is an interesting country because it was established in 1820 by the American Colonization Society. So after the slave trade, the American Colonization Society felt that the freed slaves will have greater equality in Africa
than they would in the United States.
Exactly. So that's why they purchased the land in West Africa and established a colony. About 3.7 million people live in Liberia, and the president of Liberia is a female, and her name is Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And speaking of a lady, she's won numerous awards.
Well, I mean, she's notable for winning a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes.
For her country, and as well, she's not the only woman in Liberia to win a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes.
There's also Miss
Bowe.
Miss Bowe, perfect,
exactly.
to be on the safer side.
Yeah, and then the other interesting thing is that the fifth president of United States, James Monroe, played a significant role in the colonization of Liberia. And if you look at the capital of Liberia, which is Monrovia, it took its name from the President Monroe. And another thing is that a well-known celebrity that some of us admire traces her ancestry to this very place in Liberia.
Yes, and that would be Oprah Winfrey herself.
Exactly.
And I just think that it's neat that she would trace her ancestry to Liberia, because Liberia, of course, as we've noted, they have the two well-known women there that have won Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes.
Both Mrs. Bowe was known for mobilizing Christian women and Muslim women towards the goal of equality for women.
Exactly.
And Oprah fits in perfectly right there, because she's always striving for equality, right?
Exactly. And in 1847, a young African-American by Joseph Jenkins, what's his last name again? Well, Jenkins, he declared Liberia an independent state. So this is very interesting to know.
Yes.
So speaking of Oprah, Oprah has never been to Liberia.
No, she hasn't.
I know she's been to different parts of Africa, like South Africa. And I'm saying, since we live in Calgary, wouldn't it be great to invite Oprah to Calgary? You know, show Oprah what we have here in Calgary.
I mean, it would be a great start.
Exactly, and then we can arrange her homecoming.
All the way to Liberia. So first she would stop here. I mean, there's so many tourist attractions here in Calgary. We have the wonderful Stampede, of course, which is an annual festival. And I can see her partaking in a festival like that. I mean, we have so much to offer. We have the chuck wagons and things like that. I mean, people would be happy to see her here.
Yes.
As well, we also have the beautiful mountains and the beautiful lakes. I mean, that's one thing that somebody would notice.
Yes.
First, right off the bat, coming to Calgary.
Thank you. The other interesting thing is that Liberia is one of the countries that European scramble for Africa did not affect.
Yes.
So today we're going to make a special dish called Eguisi, the melon gummy. So to begin with, this is the Eguisi soup. That's what we're going to cook. So first we will wash this in water.
So those are the seeds from the melon?
Exactly, the seed of the melon. And then we will blend it in blender. After it's blended, this is how it will look.
So how long
almost like yogurt.
How long will we put it in the blender for?
Oh, just a few seconds. It just takes like 2 minutes to blend the Eguisi soup. So we're gonna move to the kitchen.
All right.
Oh, excuse me here. And then we will
And you know what's interesting? When I think of, because you're telling me that this comes from a melon.
Yes.
And when I think of a melon, I think of a pumpkin. And you know how that we can use the seeds from a pumpkin?
Yes.
You know, it's a type of a snack, but we can also use it to bake pies and cookies and even pancakes. So is that the case with the same melon that we use for Eguisi soup?
No, this is different because you see, when we do the pumpkin.
Yes.
We use the pumpkin, the inside of it, to make a pumpkin pie. Yes. But this is the only thing that is edible in the West African melon seed.
Okay, so we don't use the rest of the melon.
No, we don't. So I have about 2 tablespoons of oil here. So to that, I'm going to add our melon, pureed melon. Okay, so would you like to do the
I think I can try it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just going to come around here.
Oh, yeah. So while you are doing this, I'm going to, use my fan because it's a little warm in here.
All right. So am I just going to put it
just
spoon by spoon?
Exactly.
Or just
so
add
you can add the
all
whole thing,
okay, perfect.
and then keep on cooking.
Just throw it in there.
I'm just going to raise this a bit. Okay, so while that is cooking, I'm going to talk about the next ingredient, which is the pureed tomato. Notice how we don't use palm oil to cook our dishes.
No, we don't.
The reason why we don't use palm oil is not because palm oil is not good. We are used to using vegetable oil. Yes. So if you like palm oil, please continue using it. But I believe that palm oil is a little saturated.
Okay, so we can substitute it with the tomato.
So that's why we substitute with.
And I remember that when we were cooking in our previous dishes, that it gives off its own natural zest.
Exactly. Okay. So that's what we're going to do here.
Perfect. So I'm just going to leave this aside. And
yeah, we can leave that. And then you can continue. Actually,
do you want me to mix this? Okay.
This is a poor conductor of heat.
Yes.
So it's better to use this to mix it.
So it won't burn me.
Exactly. So while you are mixing that, I'm going to bring our ingredients closer, and I might as well.
It's just the easier spoon to use at home.
Exactly. So, keep on mixing it. I might get another, the tomatoes here,
All right.
So how is it coming?
So this is the pureed tomato.
This is the pureed tomato. So we're going to mix this for a while. After this is mixed, you know what? I'm just, I can just pour this water out so we can use the pot for making the sauce.
Perfect.
Okay, so we're going to transfer this. You just cook this down for a few minutes. Okay. And the consistency that we're looking for when we cook this is this consistency. It has been cooking for a long time. Okay. See how thick it is.
So you're expecting it to dry a little.
Exactly. So we cook it down and make, so that it becomes like, okay. So now we're going to transfer this.
It's easy so far.
Okay. So just hang on. So we add the pot. Oh, it's a little hot, excuse me. So we add just a little bit of oil again to make the sauce.
Okay. So are you using vegetable oil?
Again, we are using vegetable oil because it's nutritious. Okay.
Can I use olive oil if I want to?
You can use olive oil. You can use any oil you wish. Just don't mix anything.
So don't mix it. Just okay. Perfect.
I know it's gonna start crackling. By mistake, there was a little water in it, but it's okay. It's all cooking. Yeah. So to that, we're gonna add the onions. So maybe I just lower the heat. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna start cooking the onions. And the next ingredient, because we're gonna use the, maybe I can just leave it there, is the oxtail, because it's going to be oxtail and beef eguisi soup.
But now this is a delicacy.
Here, this is what you have here, yeah? Mm-hmm.
Because I don't see this in many common African dishes, like if it's an everyday meal.
Cooking. So we add some onions to it, and then a little bit of salt to the meat. And then at this point, normally you could cook it in pressure cooker. Yes. It takes about 10 minutes. Oxtail is a very tough meat. It takes a longer time to cook. So I'm gonna add some water to it, excuse me. And then we cover it, and then we turn on the heat. So while this is cooking, we're gonna keep on checking our